Hello and welcome, it's the 19th of August, 6 p.m. After a couple of weeks of hot and sunny weather, we're now back to the warm and dull weather that we've been having so far this year. This week I'm going to be harvesting the onion sets that I put in the ground in November. We've got two types, we've got Senshyu yellow and red electric. Senshyu yellow behind me. But first we're going to show you the red electric. I sowed the red electric in two places. First spot I sowed 50 onions. I'd like that to be a bit overgrown, to be honest. There was much weeding there as I should have done. But when you got verbena looking like that, if that is the weed that crops up, could be worse coming, could be worse coming. Anyway, a lot of those 50 that I'd sown there didn't come up. And of the ones, very few that did survive, half of them had bolted. There was a few decent onions there, but not a particular success. When the onions are bolted, I don't put them in storage. Take them straight home, cut them up, and you know there's a central core in there that happens when the onions bolt. There's normal onion around that which tastes perfectly fine. So the first set of 50 red electric, not a particular success. So let's go have a look at the next set of 50 red electric. So as my second set of red electric onions, again 50 put in the ground in November. A few have already kind of thrown themselves up out of the ground, toppled over. So these look to be a better crop than the ones at the back. The soil's a bit of a different proposition here, a bit looser. But we seem to have more success here. Again, some have bolted, but we'll take those home after chopping the tops off. Take that core out and you're left with some nice onion around that central core. But there look to be a few more of a decent size here, so I'm going to harvest them and then I'll show you what we've got. So I was going to put the bolted ones to one side, and most of them I have, but if you look at this particular one that's bolted, it's actually got, let's just take that off, there we go, that bit I can throw away, and I'm left with a lovely onion there. So let's see what we've got, a sample, I'll show you a photo in a minute, but there's some decent size onions there, decent size onions there. That's a good example of how you can tell when they're ready to harvest. I'll take a picture of one in the ground that I haven't picked yet, but basically when the necks flop, it's time for them to come out of the ground. So we'll harvest the Senshyu yellow in 1 minute, and then we'll talk about storage. So before we harvest the Senshyu yellow behind me, I'll show you what this bed's been through. So a particularly wet winter, waterlogged in December, even worse in February. So I'm just glad we've got some onions. I sowed 100 here. Looks to me like we've got about 70 plus that have survived and grown. The pumpkin in there is my last remaining pumpkin plant, protected by the smell of the onions from unwanted predators such as slugs. So I think it's big enough to look after itself now. So we'll harvest the onions here. Let's see some highlights of the harvest. So I've counted them up and there's 72, which isn't bad considering how waterlogged this plot was earlier on in the year and last year. If you notice, I didn't even need my trowel. These just came up out the ground because the soil is great here. So I'm going to put them in the shed slash greenhouse on some ventilated wood to dry them out a bit longer, because it's been hot and dry lately. They're kind of drying out already, but just give them that extra dryness to help them store better. Once the sort of fully skin is dried out, then I normally just put them in a dark, cool cupboard to store. But some of these might be appearing in a show. I did win first prize somehow in a horticultural show, a local one, last year. So hopefully some of these are good enough to enter. There's a couple of small ones, but most are pretty decent size. So I'm well pleased with that. Red electric, not so much, but Senshyu yellow never really lets me down. The reason I'm sort of harvesting now in this wind is it's going to rain later, so just get them out the ground, into the dry them out a bit more. All is good here. Thanks for watching, click subscribe, send me a comment, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.